The woman's body was covered in blood spots, and her hair had fallen out in clumps. Her husband tried to comfort her, saying it was just a normal aging issue, but deep down, he knew this was the result of nuclear radiation. Jack could only follow the evacuation manual, leading his wife into a potato sack for protection. But this method was useless. They were just waiting to die. Their life had been happy once. But then, one day, the war started. The radio announced the declaration of war, but the people only had 3 days to flee. Mary didn't pay much attention to the announcement, but Jack was terrified. He immediately pulled out the government-issued evacuation manual. It stated that a radiation shelter had to be built with a 60-degree angle, but all the protractors at the store were sold out. Luckily, the store owner folded one out of cardboard for him. Jack also managed to buy 2 days' worth of food. To build the shelter, they had to take the doors off their house. Mary didn't want to do it, but they had no other choice. She kept all the screws, imagining she would put the doors back after the war was over. They had no idea that this war was unlike any other they had faced before. Jack followed the manual and painted the windows white, since it was supposed to protect against radiation and keep the heat out. But the blast of a nuclear bomb was equivalent to 1,000 suns. The windows couldn't possibly withstand it. Jack knew this, but he still followed the manual's instructions. He believed that following the government's advice before the war was everyone's duty. He led Mary into the shelter, looked at the remaining space inside, and brought in the prepared food. After a nuclear explosion, they would have 2 weeks to stay in this space. During that time, they could only cook on a camping stove, and relieve themselves right where they were. Mary was very reluctant about this. She refused to use the shelter as a bathroom. She wanted to live like they had before. She said she was going to write a letter to the Prime Minister, asking for the war to stop. Jack thought this idea was absurd, but he understood his wife and was willing to listen. He continued preparing their shelter. The manual mentioned needing paper bags, but Jack had no idea what their purpose was. He started guessing, thinking they might be used to deflect radiation.